seat. Finding wiggles in your neck and shoulders, maybe a few head rolls in one direction and then the other. Sitting up nice and tall when you're ready. You might exhale to relax your shoulders away from your ears. And inhale to sit up a little more erect, reaching your crown towards your ceiling. Just breathing. There's a poem that was on my heart this morning by Yarsa Daily Ward. It goes something like, and sometimes you meet yourself back where you started, but stronger. And as we near an election, and I'm not one to get political, especially not in my classes, but it's something that's on the world's heart. We're meeting ourselves back where we've been before, and I feel, good morning, Adina. Mark there too. Good morning, Mark. It's really nice to be meeting ourselves back where we started, at the corner, at the fork in the road. We can go one of two ways. And we don't have control of a lot right now, but we do have control of ourselves, our breath, our responses, the ways that we choose to show up, in spite of. So yeah, those words have just been sitting with me this morning. And sometimes we meet ourselves back where we started, but stronger. It's also a retrograde, so there's a lot of cyclical shit coming up. So yeah. And we'll go ahead and take another minute or so for everyone to find a comfortable meditative seat, finding stillness. And with 3 cleansing breaths in through your nose and out of your mouth, we'll inhale, reach your hands high over your head. Exhale, placing your hands flat on your mat, finding some softness in your neck and shoulders with your exhale. Again, inhale, reaching your hands over your head. Maybe look up. With an exhale out of your mouth, releasing your hands to your mat, soften your neck and shoulders, maybe finding some head bobs to the left and right. Full breath in, and do this at your pace. Inhale your hands over your head. Maybe you find a deeper bend in your back, maybe reaching to the left and to the right before releasing your hands to your mat. Exhaling out of your mouth. One more time, inhale, reach high. Beautiful, finding whatever moves feel right as you make your hands touch your mat, look down, finding softness in your neck and your shoulders here. Release your ears to your left and to your right a few times before finding stillness. Looking down at your mat. Go ahead and close your mouth if you haven't already, breathing in and out of your nose as you walk your hands out in front of you, seated forward fold. Now you might have a pillow or blocks or books, something to prop the ground up for support to rest your forehead on. We'll be here for a few breaths. So grabbing what is near, what you know is around you, ready to support you and lift you up, and place that where it's most comfortable for you as you settle into your breath and into stillness. Three more breaths. With this next exhale, roll over your legs onto hands and knees. Jump into your cat-cow practice. With your inhales, sinking your belly low to a cow pose. Exhale, round spine. Finding whatever movement might make this even sweeter. Maybe that's placing your knees a little wider than your hips and finding circles in your hips and your shoulders rather than bouncing from side to side or up and down. We'll check in with your ankles extending, one leg behind you, toes curled, and do this at your own pace. I'll just throw out suggestions. With your toes curled, touching the ground. Exhale, leaning into your heels, doing both feet. Check in with your wrists. Flip your palms. Maybe fingers facing you, fingers facing outside, maybe leaning into your wrists. Always moving with your breath. We'll take another 5 breaths to explore this cat-cow practice before we settle into a child's pose. Finding stillness in your tabletop and exhaling to a child's. Extending your arms in front of you. Decide whether you want your palms facing the sky. Still moving into the season. If you've been in my last few classes, we talked about receiving and about grounding. So palms facing the sky if you're looking to receive as you move into this next season. If you need some grounding, plug your fingers into your mat, maybe into your floor, palms down, and we'll practice that throughout the class. 5 more breaths in this child's pose. With this next exhale, come to lie on your belly. We'll find a half frog. So bend your right leg so that your right knee is at your side. Decide where is comfortable for your arms, maybe arms open wide. Maybe stack your hands. If you have pillows, it might be nice to lay your head on a pillow. This practice will start off pretty slow, so we'll be here for about 10 breaths on each side, and then we'll do some strength practice before grounding ourselves again. Deep breaths. If you haven't already, turn your head to rest on the opposite cheek. If that doesn't feel good in your spine, back out of it. We'll spend 3 more breaths here. With an exhale, we'll meet lying on your belly. Inhale up to a baby cobra. So hands under your shoulders. Inhale to push the floor away, raise your chest. Yep, touching the tops of your feet against your mat so that your knees slightly raised from your mat. 3 breaths here. And with an exhale, go ahead and release down, resting your head on one cheek. We'll practice this cobra or upward facing dog if you'd like to find straight arms instead. 3 breaths. With your next inhale, rise up. Beautiful. Exhale, release into your mat. Take a moment. We'll do this 2 more times. Inhale to rise. 3 full breaths in and out of your nose. Exhale, release. 1 more time. Beautiful job. Inhale to rise. 3 breaths once you're there. Beautiful. Exhale, relax into your mat. And we'll meet in a half frog. Go ahead, find a bend in your left knee. Turn one cheek down. Find some cleansing breaths as you settle into stillness. Go ahead and turn your head to rest on the opposite cheek. We'll spend 3 more breaths here. Beginning to deepen your breath, we'll meet in a baby cobra or upward facing dog. And with an exhale, we'll find a down dog. So straighten your legs, reaching your hips up high. We'll warm up here. So moving with your breath, you might pedal out both heels, maybe sending one foot to the ceiling and then the other. If you like to flip your dog, maybe spend a breath doing that. Spending about 5 breaths in total, exploring some movement in this downward facing dog before being still. About 2 more breaths, finding whatever moves help you really get into this down dog. And exhaling to stillness here. With a full inhale, reaching your heels high, bend your knees wide, preparing to froggy jump to the top of your mat. But we'll exhale to straight legs in a downward facing dog. We'll do this 2 more times before taking that leap to the top of your mat. So inhale to high heels and taking your knees wide, yeah, sending your seat back, and exhale to straighten your legs. And we'll do this one more time from a downward facing dog. Inhale your heels high, bend your knees wide, send your seat back. Sizing up this jump, and maybe you decide to walk. But with an inhale, meet the top of your mat. We'll find a halfway lift. Elbows tucked at your side. With an exhale out of your mouth, fold forward. Full breath in, reaching your hands over your head. Look up. Palms touching as you exhale out of your mouth. And your palms land at your sides, facing forward. Again, maybe you decide instead to place your palms facing up if you're looking to receive, down if you're looking to ground yourself in this practice. And we'll spend a few breaths just standing still. Notice your foundation, feet hips width, head over your heart, heart over your pelvis. One more full in and out breath. Inhale, reach your hands high over your head. Exhale, touch the top of your mat, step back to a downward facing dog. We'll stay there for 3 breaths before meeting in a child's pose. Feel free to jump to a child if you're looking for a more still practice this morning. Maybe you find a flow if you're looking for some heat, looking for more movement. And we'll all meet in a downward or in a child's pose, excuse me. Coming to lie on your belly, hands under your shoulders. Spread your fingers wide apart. Inhale to baby cobra or upward facing dog. Stay there for 3 breaths. With an exhale, release into your mat. Touch your forearms down. Elbows land under your shoulders. We'll meet in a Sphinx pose. So again, resting on your forearms, your elbow aligned under your shoulders. Maybe finding some movement with your breath here, sending your gaze past your left and your right shoulders before finding stillness. Maybe your palms turn in with your thumbs aligned with the short side of your mat, and you find straight arms in a seal pose if this feels good to your mid and low back. And with an exhale, go ahead and release back down. And we'll meet in a downward facing dog. Inhale your right foot to the sky. Exhale, step your foot to the top of your mat. Take your left knee down. Preparing for a low lunge, find some movement here. Maybe rocking back and forth, meeting that wall in your hips, sending your breath to that space as you find stillness. Decide where you want your hands. What direction are your palms facing? What was your intention for your practice this morning? Three more breaths. Exhale, touch the top of your mat. Step back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, shift your hips forward, high plank. We're gonna turn our plank on the side. Go ahead and drop your left knee down if you choose to modify your plank. Inhale, your hips high. And we'll exhale to the center, one full in and out breath before turning your plank on the other side. Inhale, go ahead and knee back in a high plank at the center. Exhale, downward facing dog. Full breath in, send your left foot to the sky. Exhale, step forward. Place your right knee down, low lunge. Three more breaths in this lunge. Exhale, touch the top of your mat. Step back to a downward facing dog. Inhale, shift your hips forward, high plank. Preparing to turn your plank on the side again, left hand down. 3 breaths. Exhale back to the center, one full in and out breath before turning your plank on the other side. Inhale back to the center. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll go ahead and step or jump to the top of your mat. Exhale, your hands at your side. You might turn so that your wide leg straddle is along the length of your mat, or step on your floor. We'll find some twists before we settle into a low squat. So finding stillness with your legs open wide, toes pointed in. Inhale, both hands over your head, look up. With a full body exhale, touch your ground. Ooh, my hips are already cracking. And go ahead and find a twist. So your right hand is planted just under your face. Inhale your left hand high, look up. Then we'll exhale your left hand down. Inhale your right hand up, look up. We'll do this a couple more times. Exhale, touch your right hand to your mat. Inhale your left hand high, twist. Beautiful. Go ahead and find a twist on your right side. And we'll find stillness. Both hands touching your mat. Check in with your neck here. Maybe find a few yeses, a few nos. Hope I'm not flashing boob. Oh my gosh. We'll go ahead and find a side squat. So bend your right knee generously. Point and flex your left foot a few times. Notice if you can balance here without touching your mat, in what direction your hands face. Maybe slide a block if you have props near behind your right foot for support. Lots of options always. Placing your hands on your mat, go ahead and switch side. Whew. Full breaths. Inhale back to the center, and we'll go ahead and settle into a low goddess squat. So toes pointed out. Feel where it's comfortable for your hips. A little wider than my hips is where I land. It might be different for you. And with an exhale, settle into the squat. Breathing full breaths. Two more breaths. Exhale, go ahead and lie back on your mat. Inhale your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your legs and find some movement, rocking from side to side. Rock along the length of your spine. Eventually, when you're ready, we'll find a happy baby here. So grabbing your feet from the pinky toe edge, draw your knees down. And maybe you're still rocking from side to side. Extend one leg or both. We'll be here for 10 breaths. Plenty of time to explore this pose. When you're ready to be still. Full breath. Five more breaths here. Placing your feet flat on your mat. Go ahead and windshield wiper your knees from left to right a few times. We'll meet in a bridge pose. So set your feet hips width close to your bottom. Grab a bolster or a block or whatever props you have if you would like to make this a restorative bridge pose. And with an inhale, raise your hips. 5 full breaths. Two more breaths. And with this next exhale, release your hips down. Go ahead and again, windshield wiper your knees from side to side a few times. Setting your foundation for another bridge pose. We'll do this 2 more times. If you would like to find movement here, maybe inhale your hips high, exhale, touch down, and do that maybe 3 to 5 times. Yogi's choice. If you decide to be still, we'll inhale to raise your hips high. Remember to breathe. Exhale to touch down. Find some movement. When you're ready to be still, set your foundation for this last bridge pose before we move on. Moving with your breath, go ahead and shift into this last bridge pose, full breath, and maybe you find a full wheel here if that is in your practice. Beautiful. Another 2 breaths. Exhale to relax into your mat. Inhale your knees into your chest. Touch your forehead to your knees. And we'll meet a happy baby. From this happy baby, we'll settle into a starfish. So open your arms and legs wide. Tuck your shoulders under, like poke your chest out. Make sure your neck is long. Yeah, if your feet are super still and upright, exhale, kind of let them relax. And notice the direction that your palms are facing. Are you grounding yourself throughout this practice, or are you looking to receive from the universe, from yourself? Preparing for a reclined tree pose. Inhale your right foot inside your left leg. You might settle into a half lotus if this is in your practice. Inviting in full breath as you find a full body stretch. Lock your fingers and flip your palm behind you as your toes reach in front of you. And we'll settle into a reclined tree pose on the opposite side. Take your time getting there. Find moves along the way. Maybe adjust your hand placement. And settle back in. Beginning to deepen your breath, find a full body stretch. And we'll exhale back to a starfish. So open your legs and your arms wide. That's really nice. Yeah, maybe you wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a hug here. And we'll make our way to a comfortable seat. Yeah, start to recalibrate, get your bearings. And with an exhale, we'll find a seated forward fold. Again, grab your blocks and pillows to build the ground up for support. Full breaths in as you sit up. Cross your legs the not so comfortable way. And exhale to fold forward again. Inhale to sit up. And a little more exercise for our hips, yogi's choice. If you would rather find a traditional pigeon pose, go ahead and make your way there. If you want to practice a figure four, lying on your back with your foot with an ankle crossed over your knee, the figure four, it's a little bit easier on your hips. Go ahead and make your way there. And we'll be here for about a minute or so on both sides. So make sure that you grab props to place under your hips if you need the support. And once you find stillness, we'll take 3 cleansing breaths in through the nose and out of your mouth. And notice with your exhales, you might find a bit more ease in your hip space. Beginning to deepen your breath. With an exhale, we'll meet in a downward facing dog. So if you're on your back, give yourself some grace to sort of maneuver that, and we'll make it a 3-legged dog. So whichever leg was bent is the leg you send toward the sky. Maybe bend your knee, find a few circles. Just getting the blood flowing before we settle into this pigeon or figure four on the opposite side. Again, moving at your pace when you're ready to settle back in. Exhale to downward facing dog. Again, inhale the leg that was bent toward the sky. Maybe bend your knee and find some circles here. And we'll meet in a downward facing dog. You might stay there for 3 additional breaths. Maybe you find your flow. As we meet in a downward facing dog, inhale your heels toward the sky as you bend your knees wide. Look to the top of your mat as you stomp or jump between your hands into a halfway lift. Exhale out of your mouth as you fold forward. And find softness here. Notice how you feel in your shoulders, in your neck. Maybe soft as you gently rock from side to side. Maybe you wrap your arms around your legs, bending your knees as much as you need to. You might rest your forehead on your knees. And we'll meet in a seat, taking your time to get there. Full breaths in and out once you do. Preparing to send your legs up the invisible wall, or you're in your home. Find a comfortable spot to send your legs up your wall. Again, we'll be here for about 2 minutes, so grab what you need to make it nice and comfy. If you'd rather keep a bend in both knees, yeah, maybe place your feet along the invisible wall. Notice the direction that your palms are facing. If you're looking to ground yourself, maybe your palms are face down at the lowest part of your belly. Check in with yourself. This is an act of grounding yourself, simply feeling your breath as your belly rises and your lungs fill. Feeling your belly contract as you push out stale air. If you're looking to receive, maybe your arms are open wide, your heart is open toward the sky as your palms face towards your ceiling. We'll spend another minute here. Beginning to deepen your breath. Inhale your knees to your chest if they aren't already. Wrap your arms around your legs. We're gonna rock along the length of your spine and land on your sits bones in a boat pose. So some ab work before we settle into a more grounded, more still practice. In this boat pose, yogi's choice, again, you might choose to find some more movement here. So you might move with your breath. With an exhale, you might release your body into your mat. With an inhale, you might contract into this boat pose, or Maybe you find stillness once here. We'll spend 5 more breaths. Three more breaths. And with this exhale, roll onto your back, knees still in your chest. Preparing for a recline twist, go ahead and stack your knees to the right side of your mat. Open your arms wide, turn your gaze past your left shoulder. Beginning to deepen your breath as you inhale your knees to the center. Go ahead and windshield wiper your knees from left to right a few times before settling into a twist with your knees stacked to the left of your mat, arms open wide, gaze past your right shoulder. Beginning to deepen your breath. Inhale back to the center and exhale to a full body stretch. So again, lock your fingers, flip your palms, stretch over your head, point your toes. And we'll settle into a banana pose. So stack your shoulders and your feet to the right corners of your mat. Maybe cross your left foot over your right ankle, turning past your left shoulder. Your back should be flat on your mat. Your body is in the shape of a banana. There you go. Inhale to a full body stretch and exhale to the left corners of your mat, turning your gaze past your right shoulder. And we'll exhale to a full body stretch and settle into a Shavasana. If you choose to sit in a meditation, or if there's a restorative pose that you would like to close your practice out in, take this time to set yourself up comfortably. Once you're there, I ask that you take some cleansing breaths. Just note how you feel in your body. And I'll repeat the poem that I said at the beginning of class, written by Yersa Daily Ward. And sometimes you meet yourself back where you started, but stronger. And I just want you to know that as we move into this next week, as we move into this next season, know that you are more than capable and equipped, and we're strong and we got this. Beginning to deepen your breath, finding movement in your body as you wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, brush your tongue across your teeth. Inhale to open your eyes and roll onto one side, curl up in a ball. We'll spend about 10 breaths here. And we'll meet in a comfortable seat with your prayer hands at your heart center. We will close out this morning's practice with the sound of one Om. If you choose to join me, feel free to unmute. No pressure. Some cleansing breaths in through the nose and out of the mouth. Breathe in. Exhale. Again, breathe in. Full breath in through your nose. Placing your prayer hands at the center of your forehead. Take a bow in gratitude for yourself and your practice this morning. Thank you.